Hey, it's good to be back with you guys again. Thanks for continuing on with your training here. In this video, we're going to be discussing the role of marriage mentors at Hope. Especially, we're going to be answering the questions, how do I know if I have what it takes to be a marriage mentor at Hope? And what exactly are the expectations of marriage mentors? And then I'm going to wrap up this video painting the picture of what great marriage mentors do, how they act, what they're like. So before we get going on this, I would encourage you, if you don't have a pencil and paper or a pen and paper, someone to jot notes, this would be the time to hit pause, go grab that and come back, because there's going to be a lot of content that's going to be coming at you really quickly in this video. So again, first question you might be asking yourself is, how do I know if I have what it takes to be a marriage mentor at Hope? Well, there's three basic criteria that we look for, three qualifications that we're trying to discern in each couple that wants to serve here as marriage mentors. The first one is this. Do you have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ? Are you able to confidently share the gospel with others? Do you have gospel fluency? Do you know how to share the gospel in light of whatever someone is facing? Because the gospel is good news for every person on this planet, for whatever issue we're facing. The gospel really is the answer. And so we want to know, do our marriage mentors, are they comfortable sharing that with others? And do you have a personal growing relationship with Jesus Christ? That's the first qualification. The second one is this. Do you have a growing marriage? Not do you have a perfect marriage, but is your marriage growing? Is your marriage worth following? Would other people affirm that and say, you know what, they've got something great going on in their marriage? And the third thing is this, the third qualification, is that you have a willingness to enter into some messy and awkward conversations, and that you could do that with grace and truth. So next, those are the qualifications. Now we're going to talk about what is expected of you if you do serve as a marriage mentor. And so based on those qualifications that we just talked about, we really expect for you to be healthy in the two primary relationships in your life. The first, in your relationship with Jesus Christ. And then second, in your marriage. So we don't think that those are exclusive. We think they're very, very linked. In fact, I don't think it's possible to be strong in one if you're married and not be strong in the other. And from my experience, if there ever were a litmus test for how someone is doing spiritually, is asking them how their marriage is doing. I think that is the greatest indicator, and vice versa, of how your relationship with Jesus is doing. So based on those qualifications that we talked about, we want everyone to be growing in that relationship with Jesus. And it begins, you do that primarily by studying God's Word and by praying that you'd spend time with Him. So we want you to grow. And we talked about that in another video. We want you to love as well. We want you to put your spouse's needs above your own. We want you to set aside intentional time for communication with your spouse, to invest in that emotional intimacy. Again, we covered this in a previous video, but the third thing is this. We want you to play together with your spouse. You should be having fun together. You should be having regular date nights. We expect that of every marriage mentor. We expect that you be taking trips away without the kids at very minimum once a year, and that you would have a healthy physical intimacy, a healthy sex life with your spouse the way that God intended. That's what we expect of each mentor here, as far as a personal expectation goes. But you want to know what's expected of you for this class and to serve as a marriage mentor. Well, I'm going to cover these two subjects in two categories. We'll talk first about what's the expectations, we'll call it, during the season, like during the semester when our classes are going on. And then we'll also talk about kind of the off season, and when there's no classes going on, what's expected of you then as a marriage mentor. So first, that first category, the in-season time, what's expected of you? Well, first, we expect of you to complete and to attend any required trainings, including these videos and including any in-person training that you guys might have. You should know that at your table or at your in your environment, there's probably going to be anywhere from 3 to 4 couples that you're going to be in charge of overseeing. And they might share some things with you, and we expect that you know how to respond if they share something that's a concern or something that is a crisis that's going on. And we have a separate video for you guys on how to do that. So make sure you don't miss that video. The next thing we expect of you in season is that you be present at each huddle. So just like just about every ministry area here at Hope, we huddle together as mentors, and we share some last minute information with you, any changes, any points of emphasis for that day. But then we spend time praying together. And what an awesome thing that is that we get to do. Probably the most important thing we get to do as mentors. We expect of each mentor to arrive early. So if the class starts, say, at 6:30 at night, we expect you to be there, to be the first one at your table there. Maybe that's 10, 15 minutes ahead of everybody else, so that you can be there to greet the couples as they come in. So they're not walking in, especially that first night, thinking, wow, where is everybody? This is awkward. But that you'd be a warm, friendly face to smile at them, to greet them as they come in. Also, expectations during the class, kind of that in-season period, is we expect you guys to be sending any weekly emails that need to go out about information of the class. Those are reminders of, hey, there's this homework assignment, don't miss this, or some other events that are coming up, or just checking in with them. That should be something every couple does. At least once a week, you're emailing your couples just the specifics for that class, what they need to know. But that's not it. We expect you to go above and beyond that as a marriage mentor. We expect you to pursue each of those couples that are in your care for those however many weeks you're together. We expect you to be calling or texting at least weekly to check in, that the guys would text the guys, the girls would text the girls, that there'd be another touch point during the week. And it could be quick. It might be, hey, just want to let you know I enjoy getting to know you and your spouse, and I'm praying for you this morning. Have a great day. Something as quick as that, but there should be some touch points along the way. And then making yourself available to them as well. One thing that's helped a lot of groups in marriage ministry is group texting. There's a lot of free group apps out there. I know GroupMe, several groups have used, and it's just a great way to keep that community going in this class and then even beyond. The next expectation is that you would endeavor to schedule a fun outing for the table, for the group. That maybe it takes place during the weeks of the class, maybe it's right after, but it's amazing to me the difference that this can make. You will see an immediate difference in the trust and the authenticity and the vulnerability of a group once they've laughed together, once they've gotten outside of that classroom setting, and you will really find immediately you start to go deeper in your conversation. So if you're finding you're not going that deep, and it's kind of staying surface level, maybe it's time to have an outing, go bowling, go to dinner, have fun together and laugh together, get out of that class. It'll have a huge impact. We expect you to try to do that at least once during the class semester. And again, not sure if I mentioned it, but as you're texting and calling, we expect guys to be texting guys and the ladies to be texting the ladies, and not vice versa. So if you're serving in a class setting, the last thing that we'd expect of you to serve at least once a year. We have a lot of classes that come and go, and we know you can't be there at all of them. And it might be just too heavy for you to continue to be there as a mentor class after class after class after class. So maybe you decide that you're going to do 2 and then take 1 off, or maybe you're going to do 1 on, 1 off. But we do expect everyone to be a marriage mentor at Hope, to continue on in your commitment to us, that you would serve at least 1 class a year. All right, so that's the in-season expectations. If the off-season, here's what's expected of you. We expect for you to be praying for marriage ministry. There's so much that we could be taking to the Lord in this, and so just continue to add that to your prayer list in your quiet times. Just continue to raise up marriages in the triangle, and our ability to share the gospel with these couples. We also expect of you to be an inviter. We want you to invite couples to the next class opportunity. If you come across a couple that's newly engaged, hey, did you know we have a pre-married class? You guys need to sign up for that thing. Or any married couple you meet, hey, have you guys taken this re-engaged class? It's awesome. We should do it together. Why don't you sign up for this next one? It starts, and then send them the links to the date and the time. But be an inviter. And then finally, would you invite other couples that you think have a strong relationship with Jesus and a marriage worth following? would you tell them that and say, hey, I'd love to connect you with Dave or with one of our marriage coaches to meet, to see if this might be an area that you guys would want to serve in as marriage mentors. But invite others along with you on this journey. We need more and more of these as this ministry continues to grow. And then in our pre-married class only, we have an assessment called SYMBIS. It stands for Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts. There's a separate training for that. Again, this is pre-married only. But your expectation as a marriage mentor in the pre-married side of things, if that's the side of ministry you're going to enter, we expect that you will be trained in that assessment and be able to be available to meet with couples to go through that assessment with them. We expect of you in the off season to communicate any major concerns, any ideas, any suggestions that you have to make the class better to your coaches. We'll give everybody an opportunity to share that feedback the last week of class, but follow up if you have additional ideas or if you see something or there's other resources available. Share that with your coaches. Share that with me. And then would you follow us on social media? We're on Facebook. You can just look up Hope Community Church, Marriage Ministry of Hope Community Church on Facebook and find us. You should share posts. You should copy, forward them to your friends and make sure that they know what's out there. Help us get the word out for some of the things that are going on here through social media. Notice what's not on this list for expectations. I never mentioned the expectation for you is to fix all the marriages, all the relational problems that you come across in couples of your care. Your job is not to fix them. Again, and you've heard this from me before, your job is to love couples, to love them right where they are and encourage them to grow in their relationship with Jesus. So again, there's a separate video telling you how to respond when crazy things come up, and make sure you don't miss that. But as we close, I want to give you guys a quick list of characteristics of great marriage mentors. Here's some of the things that they do, some of the things that describe them. First, great marriage mentors are relational. They actually like people. I love seeing table groups that laugh a lot when I enter any of our classroom environments. What a huge impact that laughter can have for couples that lets their guard down a little bit so they can be a little bit more vulnerable and open to some of the conversations. Great marriage mentors are for the ones who aren't here yet. They recognize that we have this incredible vision to reach the triangle, to reach the ones who aren't here yet. They're not overly churchy, and they assume that there's going to be some not yet Christ followers at their tables. And so they don't use overly Christianese language, and if they do, that they would explain what they mean. Great marriage mentors are authentic, that they actually share some of the issues that they have, and they're not afraid to share those struggles openly with the couples at their table, because vulnerability will breed awesome connectedness. Great marriage mentors don't do all the talking. They don't do most of the talking. In fact, they do most of the question asking. And so again, I want to share that again because it's so important. Great marriage mentors at these table discussions, they are not the ones doing the majority of the talking. They're masters at asking questions. Great marriage mentors are spending regular time in God's Word. And again, as I mentioned before, great marriage mentors don't attempt to fix all the problems in their groups, but they are able to point couples to God's Word, to God's truth, and to do that with grace. Great marriage mentors are available. They have a little bandwidth in their schedules so that as couples come, as they need a little bit of extra time and commitment, that they're available to meet outside of the class. And then great marriage mentors, they know how to manage a group well. They know how to facilitate a conversation. They know when to keep things on track, and they know when to allow maybe a tangent so that a couple can emote with something that they're dealing with, or frustration or struggle that they have. And they know how to again, not allow one couple or one person to dominate a conversation. And then finally, great marriage mentors are pursuing couples outside of the class. They're getting cups of coffee. They're getting breakfast. They're going on double dates together. They're just really loving these couples that are in their care. So as we wrap up, I know that was a lot. I hope you took some good notes, but maybe 3 questions that I want to leave you with to ask your spouse as you consider, is this an area of ministry that you're interested in serving in? The first question is this: do we get it? Ask your spouse, do we get it? Do we have a heart for Jesus Christ, for sharing the gospel, and for keeping marriages strong? Do we get it? The second question is, do we want it? Does your heart break for marriages in the triangle? Do you want to do something about it? Does that kind of stir you up a little bit? Do you have a passion for helping other couples? Do you find that yourself gravitating to that and encouraging others? And then finally, the first two questions, they're super important. They're critical. But this third one, only you can answer. Do you have the capacity to do this? Again, question one, do we get it? Do we want it? Those are critical to this. But do you have time? Do you have time in your calendars? Do you have energy that you can set aside? Or can you make time? And can you allot some of the energy that's required to be a great marriage mentor in this? That's going to be a critical question for you and your spouse to discuss, because this is an area of ministry that goes well beyond just a regular classroom. And it's going to take energy from you and time from you as you love these couples well and encourage them to grow. So discuss those questions. Pray about if this is the right role for you. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to drop us a line at marriage@gethope.net. We'll see you next time.